Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
We've definitely seen a shift in the way TV shows have gone from the 90s. You saw much more family-friendly programming in the 1990s, especially on ABC's TGIF shows, such as Full House. So there was always some kind of a moral message to the story as it was told. It was very popular, not only among kids, but also among their parents. So parents and kids watched those shows alike.
Cartoon Network, you know, you had Courage the Cowardly Dog, and the Powerpuff Girls, and Johnny Bravo, and Ed and Eddie, and then and Dexter's Laboratory. That was a favorite.
Like Rocket Power, Wild Thornberrys, Hey Arnold. It was just about being a kid and like enjoying being a kid.
Take a show like Full House. Full House in the 90s, if there were an element about growing up in America for an adolescent, it was covered on that show.
Braking? Even fill the car with gas for you. There's nobody better to teach you than your old dad. All right.
Okay, Dad, hand over the keys.
First, let's go over a few small details.
Dad, the keys.
Now, this is an automobile, Deej. Hood, headlights, bumper, bugs.
Keys.
Okay.
Dad.
Sorry?
Yes.
So whether it was trying to be the popular girl in school and not staying true to who you are, the message would be always at the end, be who you are, regardless of whether or not you're popular. As they got a little older, whether or not to experiment with alcohol, whether or not to sneak out. But in the end, they always do the right thing. Always, always, always. Compared to today, first, you don't have a lot of comedies that are geared toward children or families to begin with. Typically, you have to go to a place like cable and watch iCarly to find something of a similar vein.
Okay, shh, be cool.
Hi, welcome to Inside Out Burger.
Can we take your order?
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, so you want 9 big hamburgers? Okay.
Can you wait just a sec?
You want 11 orders of fries?
Wait, you want fries?
No, you do.
You just said so, and we all heard it.
Can you repeat that?
Sure, you ordered 30 buckets of chicken.
11 pairs of underwear.
With special sauce.
And 2 elderly ladies from Wisconsin.
Parks and Rec, Community, these 2.5 Men, these types of sitcoms are remarkably different and tell different stories and different types of messages than they did back in the 1990s.
I think it's all about the nostalgia. You have those childhood memories and you always wish you could go back to being a little kid, and by watching the television shows from when you were a little kid, it takes you back in a way, lets you access that moment of your life that you once had.
Today, you see far less of that. Today, most of the programs don't have that same kind of central theme. The stories were much simpler then. Typically, you would still have what they would call an A story and a B story, and sometimes a C story, but the plots weren't often intertwined. There was usually a couple of subplots and a very simple message, ideally for children, so they would learn something. But today, we don't see that so much. We see lots of complexity, lots of nuance, and not the same basic moral messages that we used to get.
It does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
I think that was like the real moment when basically just like shit got real.
To reiterate what my colleagues have said, we are set up to provide care, counseling, support for the victims of the event that have survived and have been relatively unscathed except for the psychological trauma.
At the beginning, when he's got what David was talking about, the resolve, the courage, the will of the people, that's that mysterious connection. But what Roosevelt had to face in World War II was not only a day like Pearl Harbor, a day like Tuesday, but weeks and months of failure and defeat.
It's terribly sad here in New York City. We've lost 5,000 fellow New Yorkers, and you can feel it. You can feel it. You can see it.
It was a lot of, that was, because I was in 3rd grade when that happened. And I remember just the whole, especially New York City, the whole kind of feeling in the city. And I was only in 3rd grade, but I knew what it felt like. It drastically changed the city, and it was never the same after that.
I think especially after September 11th that being careful of different groups of people from like the whole entire sort of Middle East area. I think people are a lot more careful about how that's presented. But I feel like September 11th, to grow up and have that happen, I think it's sort of like other generations had JFK shot or were alive for Pearl Harbor. So I feel like those 3 generations are marked by such a like significant like historical event that maybe after that people like really wanted to keep their kids safe and keep their kids young and like let their kids be kids. And so then maybe kind of like in a way sheltering.
We have a couple of things that have come up since 9/11. The first is there's a theory called terror management theory, often referred to as TMT, comes out of social psychology. And what it suggests is not only in terms of our own personal lives, but also in terms of our media choices, that we now pay attention to things in the moment more so than the future. In other words, prior to 9/11, individuals and families might think, well, maybe I shouldn't spend the money for that vacation. Maybe I shouldn't spend the money for that car. But then after 9/11, you know what? I might not be here tomorrow. Let's do it. As a result, I think that kind of attitude has sort of found its way into our television entertainment content.
Seinfeld, you made a reservation for a mid-size, and she's a small. I'm kidding around, of course.
Yes. Okay, let's see here.
66 years old?
Yeah, well, he's in perfect health. He works out. He's vibrant. You'd really like him.
Why do people always say that? I hate everybody. Why would I like him?
Go. Okay, it's a store like a supermarket. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. I'm writing in my diary. No, more like a notebook. Damn it. Okay.
So, for example, the more simplistic shows with clear, simple messages are gone, and in their place, you have shows that are much edgier, shows that are much more likely to take a risk. So we have seen a little bit of a difference since 9/11. There's no question about it.
We've done so many secret things over the years. In the name of protecting this country, we've created 2 worlds. Ours and the people we promised to protect.
Come on, team! Let's get the next item on the list! But shouldn't we help Sector B? Not if you want to win! So move it, 83!
Okay, I know I'm not who you all imagined as prom king. Seeing as how I'm not who any of you actually voted for, but she's the queen, and I love her. So I guess that makes me king. No, I'm just a guy standing next to you, you're the queen, all right? I'm the jester, perhaps, if that works. So let me ask you this, Your Highness. What can I do to make it up to you?
Well, you can start by dancing with me.
When you try your best, but you...
His name is Captain Jack Wallace. He's a decorated Iraq veteran and is also a real-life superhero.
A what?
That's what they're called.
By who?
By themselves. They don't claim to have actual superpowers.
Right, because that would be weird.
No, they're really just community activists. They put on costumes and do neighborhood watches, community service, sometimes even fundraising. Pretty cool, huh?
Hey, do they do birthday parties?
Oh my God, Bree, are you all right? What is going on? We don't have much time before the police get here. We need to talk. What's going on? Okay, just listen to me.
Ma'am, you have to talk to us. We need to know what happened. Ma'am.
Then he raised the gun and came toward us. Thank God Catherine grabbed his arm and got the gun away. That lunatic would have killed us all.
Shortly after 9/11, comedies were almost non-existent. They have had a resurgence in the past 5 years, beginning probably, literally, I would say maybe mid-2000s, we started to see comedies make a comeback. In the 1990s, by comparison, you could look at the top 25 shows in the country, and almost all of them would be comedies. But by post 9/11, you didn't have comedies. As a rule of thumb, there were a couple of comedies. For a while there, the only show in the top 25 in America that was a comedy was 2.5 Men. Beginning with shows, I would argue, higher quality shows that attracted a nicer audience. We have now seen a nice resurgence of smart, sophisticated, complex comedies that people enjoy. And that is relatively recent. So I think we've seen both. We've seen a move toward serious drama at the same time that we've seen a resurgence in comedies. But in the aftermath of 9/11, comedies went away. They were just completely not part of the traditional broadcast network media landscape.
Physics magic?
Yes, sir?
Reed, we talked about this.
I'm sorry, sir.
Really starting to get some distance on those.
We got an advanced copy of The Wood. First episode. Want to watch it with us?
No, they rejected me. I know, but I'm in it. Yeah, I gotta go change a light bulb.
All right.
Change television. I think things are a lot more politically correct now. And I think people are a lot more aware of maybe what they're saying or how they're presenting like certain groups of people.
I think it's fine that people look at these comedy shows and entertainment shows that actually have some bite and social satire and social commentary. I'm glad they tune into them. I mean, you got to be able to laugh in a world that's got so many problems.
Let me meet this player. Phil Dunphy, yo.
It's like that. You just stare down on them, let the eyes do the work. Your mouth might be saying, hey, we cool, but your eyes are like, no, we not. Nice to meet you. No, it's not. It's all good. Snow is not.
Yeah.